I'm Ashton Addison from Blockwest Capital for Investment Pitch Media and the Crypto Coin Show. And today on Blockchain Interviews, we have Rupert Barksfield, the project lead of Amulet. Rupert, welcome to the show, and thank you for taking the time.
Dude, thank you very much for having me here. It's a pleasure to be on the show.
You're very welcome. Let's dive into all things DeFi, insurance. I think insurance is really important, especially in the Wild West of crypto, and things are innovating so quickly, and things break easily when there's a lot of innovation going on. And insurance is one of those things that I think is absolutely necessary to protect not just investors, projects, really all parties. So, with that said, I'd love to dive into what you and your team are working on. Let's kick off the conversation with just a high-level overview of Amulet and some of those solutions, and then we'll dive into the details.
Sure. Well, yeah, once again, thanks very much for having me. So Amulet, we're on the surface, we're a DeFi insurance platform. So, we're much like a lot of the other players out there, in fact, in the way that we are providing insurance. But our key difference to everybody else is the way that we protect stakers' capital. So insurance in fact, pretty much all insurance, not just DeFi, is built in the same way. You've got a two-sided marketplace. You've got stakers on the one side and people who take out insurance policies on the other. And when there's a claim, the payment for that claim comes from that staked capital. Now, that was designed around 300 years ago at the dawn of insurance, and it hasn't really changed. We've gone on chain, but we haven't actually changed the model. And what Amulet looks to do is to protect our stakers' capital in a little bit a better way, what we believe. And we use yield to pay our claims rather than staked capital. And we generate a yield by utilizing proof of stake chains like Solana and other Rust-based chains in order to create a yield. And it's that yield that we use to pay out our claims.
Very interesting. Great intro. And let me just reiterate that so I can get a better understanding. So obviously, if there is an insurance claim from somebody, they're getting a pile of money from somewhere. That's coming from the pot. That's where the stakers are. And then, so if you're putting your funds into the pot as the funder of the insurance protocol, then from what I understand with what you're saying, the proof of stake, you're not actually losing that original principal, and you're paying out through the yields.
Yeah, correct. Now, it's a little bit more complicated under the hood, but the top level line is, your staked capital is protected essentially, and so we run a very different model to those existing DeFi platforms out there, much like kind of Nexus Mutual, who I've done. I want to put for the record, I've done an incredible job in terms of building our industry from scratch. But actually, we've got other opportunities and models to use now, and that's what Amulet's out there to do.
Definitely. And now I want to dive into this multi-parties, because there's multiple sides of this. There's going to be people that are investing into protocols and new projects and looking for insurance, and also just the companies themselves to help protect their smart contracts in DeFi if there are any vulnerabilities. Now, can you talk about what kind of DeFi protocols this would apply to? Does it apply to sort of all investment pots?
Yeah. So, yes and no. We have to vet the protocol or product, should I say, that we want to insure. Now, one of the things that we're doing. So, you've probably come across smart contracts risk insurance before, and that's one of the products we do. So, for example, if you were to put your capital and stake it into a platform like Marinade, let's say, we would be able to insure your funds on there if we had vetted their smart contracts and checked that they were all fully safe. So $12 billion was stolen through fraud and smart contract hacking last year, and a number of other different methods. And that's what really principally what we're here to kind of protect against, or at least protect your initial principal against that. But we want to take it another step further. Because we're built on Solana, we are able to do very much faster transactions at a very much higher volume of transactions, which gives us a new opportunity to break into. And we really believe that GameFi is actually a huge area for us to open up our wings, so to speak. So one of the things that is coming through on GameFi is obviously play to earn. But with play to earn, there's always an element of loss as well. And with that element of loss, that's where we come in to protect the downside. So let's say you're in a game and you can buy a weapon to level up inside the game. But if you die, you lose that weapon. That's what we want to insure against. So again, we'll be tapping into the games to allow users to do it directly inside the game.
Mm-hmm. Wow, very cool. And I like that. Back in the day, playing video games, now more than ever, really, you're actually investing not just your time, but your capital in play to earn to be able to earn. And of course, there is, when you're earning, there's also that chance of loss, as you're right. And with GameFi, I feel like we're very early on because a lot of the games haven't really reached maturity or even anywhere close to mainstream. But I feel like that is where we're going. And so that sounds like a great direction for Amulet to be protecting players and everybody in that ecosystem. And now speaking of early on, where exactly is Amulet with the products that you have right now?
Well, you have caught us at a very opportune time, Ashton. So we're actually announcing the project this week, which I'm very excited about. So I'm not sure exactly when the podcast goes out, but the video. But yeah, this week being, what week are we on? We're on Monday, the 18th of April right now, is when we are going to be announcing it finally. And then in June, the product actually comes out. So we're already there. We've built, in fact, we've written about 275,000 lines of code already. So we've been well underway with this project for some time. But we're releasing it out in June to everybody. And we're our process or our phase right now is really engaging with our community, engaging with people who want to support us and support the project and make crypto and Web3 a little bit safer.
Definitely. And now when you're going to be working, like, let's say, for example, with these GameFi platforms, it's possible to partner with the platform, but is it also a partnership with the individual players? For example, you can partner with car companies, but I get to choose if I'm going to pay for a premium for my specific car to have insurance on it. Are individuals paying into Amulet to have the protection?
Well, again, it's another interesting question. It really depends on the partnership with the brand or the product or the protocol. So we've been approached by a number of protocols who want to blanket provide insurance for everybody that's using their protocol. But equally, there's a lot of folks out there and protocols out there that really want to put the hands directly into the user. Now, we work in both ways, but for us, we're totally agnostic to that. We are truly DeFi in so far that we can operate with anyone, anywhere. Mm-hmm. But it's the decision kind of comes down to how it's integrated. So if you're coming to us on our site and purchasing insurance there, obviously that contract is direct with you. Even if we're doing it inside a game or a protocol, the contract is directly with you, but it's just a decision about whether or not the cost and the premium is covered by the protocol or not. And we're seeing this big shift actually, where protocols do really want to provide a lot more coverage for their users, and that's where we obviously aim to be and kind of suck up a lot more of that.
Mm-hmm, definitely. And you mentioned that the protocol is being built on Solana. I'm curious if it is just the technology that's superior for insurance, or is it to do with this proof of stake and having the yields? Why is Solana the best technology for Amulet?
Yeah, so it's definitely the latter. When it comes down to the technology, obviously Solana has a higher throughput than Ethereum, and it's much lower on transaction fees. So that helps us. But they're not the only people out there doing that, right? And we're aware of a lot of the other chains. When it comes to a programming language, though, we really do like the Rust language. Yeah, it gives us a lot more control and a lot more ability to do what we need to do. And it has complicated some things to a certain extent, but it's not it's not been as kind of oversimplified to in certain areas. And yeah, I want to stress, look, I'm not a developer in this. I just listen to what my CTO tells me, and yeah, we also like the support we get from the Solana ecosystem. So that certainly helps us grow as a business.
Definitely, yeah, and I have seen the ecosystem seems like it's growing and catching up to where Ethereum is, and they sort of have that network effect. So there's definitely a lot of potential with the ecosystem, and I think that's the right choice for your team. And now I'm curious as well, with the stakers and with the multi-party system with Amulet, is there also governance or some kind of tokenization inside of the Amulet ecosystem to bring sustainability and community into the product?
Yeah, 100%. So being a DeFi product and essentially being a DAO, we want to engage our community to really take control of the product. The stage in which we're working at is, obviously we're developing it, we're releasing it out there. We want people to use it. We want that feedback to come back into us, into the community, and also the links of kind of like, where do you want to see this being used a lot more, and allow our community to take ownership of the platform and kind of take it further forward. So yeah, we're releasing it in June without a token initially, but the intention is fully to launch a token probably around Q3 this year. My expectation would be, but it's about getting traction to the product. We've seen so many times, especially I've been in the industry since 2016, so I have seen the ICO boom and all of these tokens have just launched with no underpinning at all. And I think we're over that hill now. I think you now got to have a working product and show that you're serious about what you're doing in order to build gravitas and a connection with your community. And only then can you say, look, now we want you to be involved. Now we want you to be the governors of this platform. We've given you the framework. You've told us what you want it to be, and let's do this all together. And that's our plan.
Definitely, and I think that's a great way of approaching it, because you're building a foundation and sort of having the core team build out something amazing, and then gradually handing it over to the community. And I'm curious on some of the strategies that your team is going to use to encourage the growth of the community. I'm guessing, on the staker side, you mentioned there's going to be, yields there. Is it that if people are deciding to put their capital into the pot, they're earning yield, and that's sort of helping grow the Amulet community?
Well, I mean, there's definitely an element of that. I don't think that is the be all and end all of it. I think, you can almost look at our communities as set up as almost three different groups, and I think there's going to be crossover, but I think they're going to be quite distinct in the majority, whereby you've got people who are going to stake, you've got people who are going to be taking out policies, and I think there's going to be a large group of people who want to govern and look after the platform. I mean, so often have we seen governance tokens sold out on a platform and actually very little engagement on voting and making the decisions, and so that's why we want those people to be kind of empowered a little bit more, those who want to govern, who want to really have a say in what we do and how we progress, and even when it comes down to the team, right, like who should be working on this, who should have the ability to say yes, that's worthy of a claim or it's not. I think that's really important for the community and the governance to be brought into all aspects of this. And because otherwise you're not truly a DeFi project, and that's where we want to get to.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing how it grows. And now, crypto moves really fast, but I want to fast forward a little bit and get your ideal vision on 1 year from today, where do you see Amulet in the industry, with the partners, and with the community?
Yeah, it's another good question. I have been planning this out in my own decks, my own targets. So the way I see it, 1 year from today, I would like us to have a fully launched token. I'd like us to have a very engaged community, upwards of 20,000 users. Mm-hmm. And I would like to be operating on about 150 or so different protocols, with 30 plus being API driven, mm-hmm. whereby users don't have to come to us. We go to them, and they, we're at the point of purchase on FTX. We're at the point of purchase in your Phantom wallet or your and we're truly a regular part of users' interactions. They stake on a platform, they go, yep, I'm going to take out some insurance on this, click, take out Amulet insurance, boom, and you're done. And that's where I want to be. But equally as important to those numbers and those metrics is really the trust. And I want to be able to build trust with our community, and I want to allow people to have a different option, and not to worry about even whether or not the insurance that they're taking out is going to be paid. It's got to be locked. It's got to be honest and clear. And people have got to be able to have that trust in you from day one. And that's, again, another big core value of mine to build up.
Very well said, and looking forward to seeing that. And those are some great numbers projecting into next year. But there's a lot to do before then. And as you mentioned, part of the launch and the announcement is this week. What can people expect, and how can they learn more about what's coming out in the very near future here?
Sure. So we're going to be announcing on Twitter initially, or at Amulet Protocol. But please do follow us on Twitter. Go over to the website amulet.org and sign up for the newsletter there, and join the Discord as well. Discord is really where we're going to keep our main community. That's where the main chat is going to be. Twitter and Telegram are going to be more kind of broadcast for us, unless our community demands otherwise. And we're going to be talking a lot to people. I want to meet people, those who are most interested in securing Web3. You have the opportunity to influence us really early on. So please, reach out if this is of interest, and join the community and let us know your thoughts.
Sounds great, Rupert. I will leave all those links in the Discord as well in the description box below for the viewers. All the best with integrating insurance into GameFi specifically, and all of the other kinds of products and protocols that you mentioned. I'm really looking forward to just seeing how this evolves in the next year and beyond, because it's very early on, as you mentioned, and I feel like the infinite potential for, in GameFi at least, gamers to get involved with blockchain and understand how these innovations work, and also be able to own their own assets and own their own information and have it backed by insurance as well. So very exciting. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on the show. I really do appreciate it, and let's follow up in the near future.
Thanks, Ashton, and thanks to everybody else who watched and listened.